Hello, friends. Hello, hello. Oop, my head's cut off. Okay, I have a magical moment for you while you all arrive. This is by the magical, wonderful, can you tell magical and fabulous are my favorite colors? Not colors, words. My brain is, it's often like fairyland. So this is a magical piece for you. This is a little bit of Hildegard von Bingen's Columba Aspexit. Oops. Let me try that one more time. I'm learning this one here. By the way, it's in the Mixolydian mode. And it's from the 11th century. All right, you guys, well, it's a work in progress, isn't it? So that is a magical, beautiful piece by Hildegard von Bingen. There are 13 people here listening to me noodle through all of that. That was from, she was around in the year 1098. Hello, Jake. I think it was 1098. Anyway, the early 11th century in, I guess, the Rhine area. Oh my goodness, you guys, thank you so very much. Hi, thank you for saying hello. I am so happy that you're here. This is fun. So for all of you that are new, this is a, Friday activity that I usually do is sit down and have a cup of tea and a snack, although we're not doing that today because I had a late breakfast and it's like 1 o'clock, so I'm not really hungry right now. And I have so much to share with you about what we're learning in what's coming up in lessons each week. So hello, Chris, greetings. So we're gonna talk about sounds having colors. We're gonna use some art to help us with this. Last week we were, I was showing you through some of my fairy books that I just got by the wonderful Brian Froud. And so we have been using, the fairies have been helping me teach this week, which has been so fun. This happened to be the card that I chose today. So let's take a look at it together. And this is actually how we've been exploring this in lessons is we have the capacity to see and analyze pictures and imagery, right? We can almost 3Dly step into a picture and experience it. So what I want you to do is just pretend that you're 5 years old and that you're gonna look at this and tell me as many details as you possibly can. I know that it's hard to see, and we're gonna start up here. You've got lots of faces. One's kind of contemplative in the corner there. These are fairy cards. They're called oracle cards, but I like to use them as, you know, a thought for the day, but also to just kind of get us all in creative artistic mode. So just start to analyze this and see what you see. Tell me some colors that you see. What are the images that you're seeing, and what's the vibe behind it? Is it a happy scene, like everybody's kind of smiling, right? And we can do the same thing with sounds. So this week in lessons, we have been listening to the harmony of a half step and a whole step. And I can just show that to you so easily on the harp. So that's what we're gonna use the harp for today, although we've been using a drone in lessons. Hello, Pamela. Thank you for being here. So let's listen to this. Let's listen to the harmony of a whole step, for example. Actually, let's start with the half step. The half step is the smallest interval. An interval is a distance between two notes. Natalia, if you have, I'm so happy that you're here. If you have any, like, if I forget something, let me know. Make sure I don't miss anything. But this is a half step. Let's just take a moment to hear exactly what this sounds like and start to either imagine a color that's associated with this. Here's another octave of that. What color would this be if you were looking at a color spectrum? Is this like a, you know, a dark color? Is it a light color? It could also be a location. What kind of location does this remind you of? And is it, you know, a happy place, or not so much dark brown, a dark color? I have to tell you that most people in the studio have said that a half step reminds them of the color yellow. So it's not funny that we were thinking it's scary, isn't it? It's scary. In fact, let me play you a little improvisation just using these pitches and a little drone. So I'm playing the notes D and E flat here in this hand. So I'm gonna just play a D over here. It is freaky, isn't it? Can you imagine a color that goes with that? Let's compare that with the next largest interval that we have. This is a whole step. Did I say that wrong? A half step is the smallest interval that we have. The next one up is a whole step. 2 half steps make a whole step. So I'm going to play the notes C and D as an example for that. C and D. It's also a dissonant interval, but it's not quite as dissonant as a half step. The frequencies of the half step are just mingling, they're jarring against each other, and they don't like necessarily being there, right? They're anxious to move along. And when you play them, actually, they sound anxious, don't they? It's a very scary kind of sound. But if you were to switch over to a whole step, this is a whole step here. It's not quite as scary. Here's a whole step below. What do you guys think? What does this remind you of? What does a whole step sound like? This is what it sounds like simultaneously. Just imagine that you are looking at a color wheel. Is this red? Orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, water. Interesting, Natalia. Yeah, water. That's interesting, because one of their students this week was saying that, and Bharat, if you're here, he was saying that it reminded him of looking in a well. He grew up next, you know, and there was a well nearby, and they would throw little stones into the well as children. And you could hear the sound of that in the water. What do you guys think? You know, the more that we can connect as an artist with the sounds that we're hearing, the more we're going to be able to be connected to them and sensitive to them. Especially the dissonant ones are quite hard to hear. You could imagine as well a location. Does this remind you of being anywhere in particular, right? Are you in a mountain? Are you in a forest? Imagine that you, let's see, where do I put my little fairy card? Imagine that you're here with all these little fairies here, and you walked into this. How would you feel if this was kind of the background music? How would you feel if this was the background music? That would be a little bit scary, right? This one, maybe more contemplative, introspective, perhaps. Let's move along. We're actually going to together just really quickly go through all of the intervals within an octave. In the studio, we're spending more time getting to know them, and we're actually using our book 1 and 2 to help us out with this in a drone. Rhythm also does play a big role in our understanding of things too, and how we're affected by things. For example, back to the half steps. If I was to play it, very fast, that's going to have a different kind of feel than going very slowly. With a pause. So that seems a little bit sad to me, but the other ones, like we're in a movie and like the scary person is right around the corner or something, So let's move along to thirds. So we've got major and minor thirds, just like we have major and minor seconds. You can think of, by the way, with major and minor, you can think of that as part of a yin-yang. You've got your light and you've got your dark side of a yin-yang, right? Here's major. This is an E-flat major chord. It's just happy, beautiful. Sun comes out. Here's a minor chord. This has the same key signature. It's called the relative minor, but it's just the dark side of that key. This is C minor. So major and minor, you could at least maybe think of it as light and dark. So we have major and minor seconds. Those are our half steps and whole steps. We have major and minor thirds. Let's go on to a minor third. That's a whole step and a half step. So a minor third here. Let's see here. Let me find one. Give me a second. F2, A flat. That should be a minor third. There we go. Let me just take this up here. What kind of color does this remind you of? We're just getting in creative, artistic mode. Let your imagination go for a minute. How does this make you feel? What kind of color would this be? Definitely has a sadness to it. Let's contrast that with a major. Here's a major third. For me, a major third is like getting a hug from my mom or something. It's very comforting and cozy, and like everything is okay in the world. What do you guys think? What does a major third sound like to you? This is like the sun coming out for me. Isn't that interesting? These sounds have certain colors, emotions, and feelings. Such exercise is the path to perfect pitch. Yeah, isn't that neat? We'll see. We shall see, you guys. Tell me a color. Someone give me a color here. What does this remind you of? Maybe I can improvise something. shade of red? Can we elaborate a little bit? Is it like a pinky red, an orangey red? A lullaby, this color of the sky. The thing is the more details that we have with this, the more we're able to connect with it, I think. So if you're thinking it feels like the sky, or if it sounds like it's red, can you imagine also maybe some weather associated with that? Sometimes when we see red, it's at a sunset. Is it a sunset with, you know, lots of big clouds in the sky? Is there wind? Is it raining? Are you with somebody that you love? Let's contrast that with the half step. Orange, red, crimson, maybe. Yes, interesting. Let's go back and listen to a half step again. So here we go. Now that we have something to kind of gauge it against, isn't that interesting that a half step, I actually love half steps, but I find them they are extremely, extremely dissonant. Yes, emotions connected to music help to store the character of pitches. I love that. And I think it really helps with artistic interpretation too, you know, an Insidious movie. You guys, I need my glasses. I'm trying to read your comments and I can't really see what you're saying very well. I keep like squinting. So I'll just keep squinting at you. Velvety red. One of the things that I'm finding, I'm going to play you a perfect fourth now. Perfect fourth, let's see here. But one of the things that I'm finding, let's see. Oh, is that a perfect fourth? E flat, F, G, A flat. That should be a perfect fourth. There we go. Going along with, you know, the emotions, connecting emotions, it helps us to interpret as an artist because sometimes we have words, you know, if it's a song that we're singing, we have words that we can use to help us, you know, bring out what we're supposed to be singing about. But if we play the violin or the viola or the harp or something, you know, or whatever, sometimes we don't have words to go along with it. So, but if we have a harmony to help us with that, we can start, and we can connect to it, we can start to interpret it beyond just, you know, trying to play in tune or with the right bowing or whatever it is. So this is a perfect fourth. It sounds like Here Comes the Bride. I really like fourths. I think they're very, very beautiful. Let's see. This is another one. F to B flat. That sounds like Here Comes the Bride. There's another fourth. What do you guys think? This is a perfect interval, so it's not major or minor. Remind you of like flying through the universe, you know, looking at stars? Would you be on the beach at a sunset? I missed your comment. It looked very interesting. I'm sorry I missed that. What do you guys think about this one? If this was a color, or if this was a location? In comparison, let's listen again to the half step. What does this remind you of? I feel like this is quite an elevated interval. It's uplifting, powerful, but like lightness, there's some lightness about it. Running through green grass, I love that, I love it. Let's see. perfect fifth? That's another sacred interval. Actually, the perfect fifth is considered quite a sacred interval, and music is really built off of the perfect fifth. So here, let's see here. The next one up, let's see, brain. Is that a perfect fifth? F, G, A flat, B flat, C, F to C. That's a perfect fifth. Let me play you an improvisation using just these 5 notes. I added one, sorry. Do you hear how this one's quite powerful? This reminds me of like ancient Greece or Rome, like an ancient, very ancient kind of sound. The next one we have is a minor 6, a half step above. So let me think for a second. We've got C to A flat, minor, a minor 6. Do you hear the sadness in there? This one was a color. Let's imagine this one. If it's hard to think of a color, maybe imagine, is this a light colored color? Is it dark? It could be a combination of things. Like it could be like red and black together. Hello, you guys. I am so happy that you're here. For me, this is like, for whatever reason, popping into my head is like a red blotch with a black dot in between. Let's move along. Let me see if I can find a major 6. So let me see here for a second. E flat. E flat to C. Yes. It always sounds like NBC. Let's see here. Let me find a different octave of this octave. Doing this right? What do you guys think about this one? How does this make you feel? Just imagine that this sound is like permeating your space. It's filling the room. You can imagine what the feeling is behind it. The color that's coming through these pitches. Is it like a pinkish, yellowy, golden, sparkly color? Green. Lost in heaven, yes. It's lovely, isn't it? So the major 6, the major intervals are just magical. They're so magical. It's a little bit melancholy, yeah. Interesting. Let's move along to a minor 7th. let me see, a minor seventh. So we're back to the dissonant intervals. The sevenths are dissonant. This is a minor seventh. It's pretty far apart. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out what I can do to make this interesting for you. Why don't we look in this picture here? I'm going to hold this up for you. Imagine that you 3D step into this picture here. What does this do to the feeling behind this photo? This drawing, this painting, this picture? Maybe it sounds more like a question, or like a pang in your heart, you know, kind of like a, oh, it's painful moment. A bit sad. Let's find a major seventh. The major seventh is quite dissonant. Let me see here. Let me think about this for a second. E flat to D. A major seventh, also dissonant. This one really, really wants to resolve, because it just has a half step resolve. Listen to that kind of sad resolve at the end there. But actually it could be really satisfying as well. It just kind of depends on how you play it. Or so anyway, so you guys, and then here's the octave. The octave, quite powerful. This is like a very ancient way of harmonizing. Very, very sonorous. So you can explore all of these kinds of things on the violin and viola too, and whatever instrument, you just have to use a drone. So there's a fabulous cello drones playlist, let me see, on YouTube. It just looks like this. It's called My Practice Partner. And I'll link it below, and it is wonderful, 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 wonderful to practice with. And the thing that we have to work with when we're learning an instrument is that we have to kind of juggle the fact that we're learning something that's technically challenging, while also allowing space for creativity as well and emotion. And so the way that I tend to just kind of recommend is to just have a portion of your practice be like dedicated to technique and improving that, and you know, doing some hand patterns, doing some scales, doing the hour books. But actually the hour books are amazing to actually allow yourself some creative time as well. So they're just they're perfect. Let me just show them to you really quickly. Here's book 2. Looks like this. Book 1 and book 2. I wish that they had them for the viola. I have to find something that's comparable for the viola. But anyway, you guys, I have a really busy day today. I have to go to the tailors. I have to record some things for Patreon. I have to record some videos for you guys on Wednesdays. There is an exciting video that I've already recorded for you on Wednesday. It's actually a tutorial. Have you guys seen Hillary Klug? She is amazing. I absolutely love her. She and her friends played Down to the River to Pray on Instagram last night, and I Like, I love that song. So I recorded a tutorial for you guys so you can play some beautiful American folk music with me. That will be on Wednesday's lesson next week. And we're still learning our scales on Patreon. And the nice thing about the Patreon thing is that, oh, thank you. She is, isn't she? Hillary is so great. You guys have to check her out. I'm gonna link her it will be linked on Wednesday's video, but definitely go check her out on Instagram. So inspiring, just so inspiring. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yes, the nice thing about the Patreon videos, and the thing with Patreon is they're there for you. Those videos are there for you so that you can play along with them, so that you can actually play your scales, you know, in thirds along with me, or in fifths along with me, or you could play in sevenths or half steps or whole steps. So for example, let's say that we're doing the C minor scale. I haven't listened to Lindsey Sterling's River Flows Into You. I might have, I don't know, but I like her too. I love her too. So listen to the contrast of playing a scale in thirds. They're very poignant, they're thirds, so they're major, minor thirds, just gorgeous, versus playing in fifths, the powerful fifth. We're playing in octaves. So all of the scale recordings that I have for you guys, I really hope that you at least play along with me, but that you also try playing them starting on a different scale degree, you know, because then you can start to really hear all these harmonies, you guys. So I feel like this was the shortest live stream I've ever done. I might have to go into more depth with this kind of topic because it is so awesome and it's so fun to explore, but I just have kind of a little busy-ish day. So I'm gonna love and leave you. Go have a cup of tea, enjoy your magical practicing, and I will see you very soon. Mwah, lots of love. Thank you so much for being here. This is a lot of people. To have 18 of us here, that's like, I don't usually have that many, so I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you so much. You can connect with me on Instagram, and everything is Violin Viola Masterclass. Instagram, Patreon, my website is Violin Viola Masterclass. And anyways, so if you guys are interested in staying more in touch with everything, just follow me on all those and we'll be able to stay connected. All right, you guys, lots of love. I also might get a sitar soon. You know, the beautiful Indian sitar. I have a lot of Indian students, and so I was thinking maybe I should get a sitar and learn the sitar. So at some point we might have a sitar that joins us as well for these Friday things. Okay, lots of love. Bye-bye, you guys. Bye-bye.